that first meeting was great because you were like, okay, who are you? Where are you from? And then you told me about you and your wife and your family. Like we both became people to each other rather than this like, professional dry relationship.
I'm pretty sure that most times you're not going to have the beginning and end experience that you have that you get with you guys, where you come in, you took each one of us individually, and you had a conversation that was inside of what we were talking about scope wise, the home, the physicalness of it, the nature of the view, the picture of it, but also the emotional side of it. You walked us through the spaces and you asked us a bunch of questions that I didn't necessarily see pertaining to the situation, but afterward you realize how much they do.
I like the fact that you really, really tried to understand what we needed and why we were building that bathroom. And I was absolutely flabbergasted when you mentioned that sometimes you just refuse projects after this full spectrum because you feel like it's not the right thing to do. But just like thinking about things that way and being like, okay, well, I'm not just going to take the project that's going to bring me the most money, but I'm going to really focus on what these people want and these people need.
I want to go through it with somebody who's going to really take at heart what's most important to me, not only just like what's on the surface, just like, I want this wall to go here and this wall to go here, but I want the place to feel like me, like it's an exact expression of me and who I am.
I was amazed when Austin made it clear that in order to know how to create the space that I wanted, I needed to get in touch with my values and what matters to me in life, my spiritual purpose. Like all of these things inform how I want my space to be created for me.
I was limited by my own ideas. And I find that having gone through the NLP session with you to clarify my needs, that was powerful in itself. I think trusting that somebody else understood what I was trying to get at and putting it into words that then I can articulate myself to my contractors or to my architect or to my, whoever. I think just that work alone is very valuable.
It's very important to know why are you doing this, right? Like what are you trying to achieve? What's going to happen in this space? So what are the things you need in this space to fit? So, but it all starts with like, why, mostly like, what are going to be people doing this? Because you're going to be building the space based on that. So if that comes clear from the outset, then I think a lot less things can go wrong. Mm-hmm. And then you end up saving money because every time you have to go back to the drawing board, you want to avoid that as much as you can.
Our project kind of trickled to an end. And so, there was the last little this and the last little that. And to have you come and really like look at the space and us kind of go through a verbal process of what we had gone through was really, really great. And it really like made me feel like we had accomplished this goal and really love my space that much more.
That attention to detail and just making sure that people are comfortable, not attention to detail as in like the marble crouch should be like light gray and not dark gray. No, not like that. But attention of detail as in like, oh, let's just really think about the way people move into the space and to make sure they're comfortable, to make sure that they don't just do a project that doesn't help them in the long run, but it just serves the purpose that they want. Like I felt like that part was amazing.
We got to the end, we all the way to like very hardcore physical, all the way up to spiritual. And then we stepped out into that realm of nothingness. And then I came back and then you looked me in the eye and you said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm the unconditional loving host." So I got a sense of who I was. And so anytime we had a problem or didn't know what to do, we just took a second and asked the unconditional loving host.
Through this work, I've been able to understand what really matters to me and really come to understand that maybe the plans that I had originally are too expensive or too like practical, but they're not actually what I really want.
You know, working with you was the first time I experienced it outside of, say, a self-help seminar or a weekend workshop of some sort. You know, I didn't really think about utilizing a system to understand the needs of my clients, and I think that that's something that, you know, I continue to figure out how to incorporate and make a part of my everyday life and everyday work.
And then the final coming back and kind of closing it all out, which we kind of touched on in the beginning of this conversation too, and how that is so much more needed than you could ever expect to have some sort of, you know, finalization and completion. I don't think people realize how much either one of those things is needed. And I don't think it's something that you can expect to get in most situations that you have in life, but having that built into what you guys do, to me, is makes it very special.